Good morning, everyone, and welcome to S-Bank First Half 2025 Result Webcast. My name is Riikka Laine-Tolonen. I am CEO of S-Bank, and Mika Heikkilä, our CFO, is here with me in the studio. I will first present some highlights and discuss a bit our strategy proceeding, and then Mika will give a more thorough to financials. And in case you wish to ask questions, you can post them to the system and we are happy to answer them after the presentation. First half of 2025, growth in number of active customers supported stable result development of S-Bank. All in all, when we look at the numbers, we can see that the result is in line with our expectations. The operating profit was 51.9 million euros, and there was decreased 38% compared to the corresponding period last year. This was a stable result considering how much we are investing in our strategy, especially in digital services and strengthening our risk management. This is also in line with our expectations when we take into account some one-off expenses during the first half of this year, including a penalty payment from the Finnish FSA. There was strong growth in deposits. Our deposit base grew to 10 billion euros, which is a record level for us, and also lending base grew to 9.4 billion euros and asset under management to 8.4 billion euros. We can also see that the operating profit has strengthened our capital adequacy ratio. It actually developed with 4.8 percentage points to 25.3%. We are steadily approaching our strategic target of 1 million active customers. At the end of June, the number was 822,000 and the growth was two-digit 17%. That is a really good number. And also the number of high-value customers is increasing and it was end June 142,000. We are also very happy with the positive feedback from our customers. During the first half when we did survey, the net promoter score of our customers was 54, a good number. And our customers are particularly happy with our digital services and daily banking services. All in all, we are pleased with the results for the first half of this year. And I want to thank our customers, employees, owners and investors for the stable result for the first half. When we look at the operating environment, some words around that. Of course, all in all, we expect only moderate growth in Finland for this year. And the first half has been dominated by trade and geopolitics uncertainty, and that uncertainty has remained high. The Finnish economy started to moderately recover, but that has paused in the beginning of 2025. And when we look at the confidence of business sector and also household sector in Finland, it has slightly recovered, but still it is very fragile. Especially when we look at the household, the sentiment is weighted down with worries about the threat of unemployment, perceived high inflation and global security concerns. The lower interest rate levels have had an impact on housing loan market. However, the improvement has been modest. And when we look at the housing prices in Finland, the rise has actually remained lower than expected. About our guidance. We actually updated our guidance on 23rd of May this year, and we expect the operating profit for the whole year to decline under 100 million euros. Already in the beginning of this year, we communicated clearly that we expect the operating profit to be lower than 24, and that is because even if the Handelsbanken transaction is increasing our earnings, on the other hand, then of course, declining interest rates and our high level of investments have an impact on our earnings. Now we updated the outlook in May, and the reason behind that is that the combined penalty payment of 7.67 million euros that was imposed on an S-Bank by the Finnish FSA. This penalty payment concerns an exceptional and very difficult to detect malfunction that happened in a software update by one of our service provider, and that happened in 2022, 3 years ago. Immediately when we detected the malfunction, we corrected it, and we have also compensated customers all direct harm caused, and it was only some hundreds of customers who were impacted. And since the incident, we have and we are continuously working on improving our risk management to meet increasing regulatory requirements and also new threats in the market. Please note that S-Bank has appealed the decision to the Helsinki Administrative Court. All in all, this outlook is subject to uncertainties, and those are, of course, regarding operating environment, economy, employment, and real estate market. And then let's have a look on our business segments. First, banking segment. Banking segment has the highest contribution to our business. First of all, we are happy to see that the customers are using our banking services even more actively than before. As an example, the S-Etukortti Visa card purchases in euros grew 17.8% year on year. And already mentioned, we reached here a record level in deposits, all in all 10 billion euro deposit book when we combine household and corporate deposits, and also very good development when it comes to lending book year on year. The operating profit was 57.3 million euros in banking. Our market share on mortgages, we actually reached the fourth largest bank level in mortgages in Finland after Handelsbanken transaction, and that has been stable during first half. And then wealth management. In wealth management, we saw very good development in the number of unit holders of S-Bank funds. The number rose to 472,000, and the growth was 13.1% year on year. In wealth management, the operating income was 23.5 million euros, the growth with 17%, and the operating profit was 1 million euros negative. And here behind are, as an example, our investments to our strategy. Asset under management, 8.4 billion euros, 35% growth year on year. And the net subscriptions to S-Bank mutual funds was actually growth was five-folded number. We are also proud that our funds are performing excellently, and when we look at the fund performance comparison in Q2, we can see that, as an example, S-Bank Asset Management 100 Fund was the best in its category when we look at 10-year return. Good, well done. Then to our strategy. We want to become even more customer-focused and digital bank in the Finnish market. And we have 5 strategic objectives. First, 1 million active customers, where we are well on track to be reaching that with that 822,000 active customers. However, we also see that we have a potential and opportunity to become a customer also for those who use our services even more widely, and therefore we have set a target for high-value customers. And the target for this year is 144,000 high-value customers. Customer experience, we have set the target for this year, a Net Promoter Score 55, and then profitability below 60% cost-income ratio and above 10% return on equity. And reputation and trust is also our strategic objective, and there we want to reach above 3.5 index point level. We have key change areas, and those are three. First one, Handelsbanken integration, which we already have executed successfully end last year. And now we are working on renewing our service model to be even more customer need-based and to become even more advisory bank for high-value customers. And we are also working on improving our scalability. And how are we then doing? Let's have a look first the active customer target. All in all, we have significant potential in our customer portfolio, and we are working on activating that customer base to boost growth. Active customers, 822,000 in June, and also the number of high-value customers is developing well. End June, 142,000 high-value customers. And customer feedback, customer satisfaction is of course important ingredient to create customer loyalty and develop a relationship even further. Our customer experience was 54 when we look at Net Promoter Score in June, and the reputation trust 3.74, and it is actually the highest of financial sector in Finland. And our customers appreciate a lot our effortless banking, our digital services, easy daily banking services, and those services who make, for instance, savings easy and available for all of our customers. We want to work even further with the customer satisfaction and customer experience, and therefore we have also set a target for customer experience, and we want to become the most convenient bank for Finns in Finland. And then, as mentioned, we want to become even more digital, and we are developing our digital services. And the S-Mobile app is of course the core of our services, where we in a very unique way combine retail services of S-Group and services of S-Bank. And the number of S-Mobile users continue to grow. We already have 2.4 million downloads and users, and 1.5 million users are using the app weekly actively. We also get great feedback from app users. Actually, the NPS of S-Mobile is 62, and that is of course a very good number. And we are continuously working on improving those services in digital, and we see that is boosting customer experience, but also giving us an opportunity to grow cross sales. And here you can see some examples when we bring new features to S-Mobile, which we did last year, for instance, with over 30 new features. You can see that they get the good traction. 75% of our monthly saving contracts are already coming from S-Mobile. 60% of applications of housing loans and other collateralized loans come from S-Mobile. And also 17% of our card purchases are already done with mobile wallet, Apple Pay or Google Pay. To summarize, when we look at the strategic targets, we are well on way towards the 27 targets. Active customers, 822,000. High-value customers, 142,000. Customer experience, 54. And reputation and trust, highest in the market, 3.74. And when we come to financial targets, return on equity, 12.3% in June. Cost-to-income ratio, 60%. All in all, first half stable result development in line with our expectations, and we are reaching the 1 million active customer goal. It is approaching, and also strong feedback from our customers, which give us a good base to build even further towards the end of 2025. And now I will give over to Mika to go through more the numbers.
Thank you. So first, I will start with development with total income and operating profit by quarter. And on the left-hand side, you can see that we have kept quite well the 100 million level in total income, despite several interest rate cuts by ECB. Handelsbanken deal, the volume what it brought, and also the organic retail deposit growth has supported the net interest income development. Year-on-year basis, total income decreased by 4% and net interest income 8%. On the right-hand side, you can see that operating profit is now lower level as it was during the last 2 years, but still it's good. And actually the Q2 result was better than Q1, so it was totally 28 million euros. Compared to Q1, lower operating cost and also lower net credit losses supported the development. Here in income cost analysis on the left-hand side, you can see that especially in the cost side that our personal cost has increased compared to last year. So they were around 7 million up due to the increased personnel and also salary compensation. And then also other administrative costs are clearly up, almost 4 million. And there is the main reason is our IT cost and our investments to our strategy and other IT areas. When we calculate the rolling cost income ratio, we can see that it's now 60%, as it was year before it was 49%. As Riikka mentioned, our deposits were up 20%. So in euros, when we look at 12 months development, so it's almost 1.7 billion euros. So it's not only coming from the Handelsbank deal, but there is clear organic growth also there. And also this year-to-date change during the first 6 months, the total growth has been 6.4%, which is also very, very good. Here lending, which was totally 34% up, and here also in euros it's totally around 2.4 billion growth in 12 months time, and there it's mostly coming from this Handelsbanken deal. We can see that the year-to-date change this year has been quite flat, so due to the market condition and weak housing market. Asset under management also up this 35%, and which is euros into 2.2 billion euros. So of course there has been lots of fluctuation in the market during this first 6 months, and it has partly impacted to the development. With credit quality, we can see the repayment holidays. It's quite stable situation when we look though that in households. So we can see that the household loans subject to repayment holidays, it's around 430 million euros at the end of June, and correspondingly 5.2%. But very, very stable development. In credit losses, we have seen positive development. Actually, the ECL provision decreased by 2 million from beginning of this year, and also the net credit losses were around 12 million during the 6 first months, as they were 16.6 million last year. Also, non-performing loans ratio is quite stable. It was 1.8% at the end of June. Our balance sheet totally 13 billion euros. We can see on the right-hand side liabilities and equity. It's quite straightforward. The deposit base is 10 billion out of 13. Our equity is 1 billion, and our issued bonds totally around 1.6 billion. And on the asset sides, lending totally or loan book totally is 9.4 billion, and we still have a very good liquidity portfolio, which is almost 3 billion euros. We also paid back during these first 6 months the bilateral 590 million loan, which was related to this Handelsbanken transaction financing. Our own funds capital requirements developed also very well during this period, thanks to CRR3 regulation, which came into the force at the beginning of this year. It's actually decreased our risk exposure amounts totally around 570 million. And you can see on the left-hand side that the total risk exposure is now clearly down what it was at the end of last year. We also have good situation with the MREL requirement. Our MREL ratio is 39%, so there is still very good buffer above the requirement. Our capital position is also strong. Our equity ratio is 7.7%, as it was 7.4% last year. And both capital adequacy ratio and debt ratio are very strong. So with the capital adequacy ratio, there is around 12 percentage points buffer on total capital requirement. Here the liquidity and investment portfolio not big changed. Our investment portfolio a little bit up from what it was at the end of last year. Our LCR was 267% at the end of June, which is very good and strong. And still from total portfolio, level 1 assets are around 95%. So to summarize this, we made a good result in 6 first months, which was this 52 million. We have really solid funding base. Our loan to deposit ratio is 94%. Our credit quality is quite stable, and an NPL ratio at the same level approximately as it was at the end of last year. And we really have a robust capital base at the moment, so it supports our growth opportunities also in the future. So that was my last page.
Thank you, Mika. And let's check if we have any questions. No. So we thank you for your time and wish you a very nice rest of the summer.
Thank you.